Good morning. So, can everybody hear me in the back? I just want to make sure because my voice is not the loudest. We good? Okay. So, the first thing I want you to do is take out your phone and go to your Instagram. I want you to find me on Instagram. I'm at Green Real Estate Mom, and I want you to send me a DM. The DM I want you to send me is CPNG.
Hold on 1 second. Say it one more time, your IG.
Go to Instagram at Green Real Estate Mom. Shoot me the word CPNG, and that's going to be our workbook for today. If you don't have Instagram, you can go to fearlessinvestingworkshop.com. So while you guys are doing that, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself so you all can get to know me. I am Jasmine. I have been a realtor in Philadelphia for over 13 years, and in addition to being a realtor, I'm an investor. So I have long-term and mid-term rental properties in Philadelphia and even down south. And I also am a coach, right? So 3 years ago, maybe about 4 years ago now, I began coaching women on how to invest in real estate. Specifically women, because I understood that women have a very specific need and some insecurities around making their money grow, right? And so I had that same insecurity. Not only did I have that same insecurity, I didn't have any confidence in getting it done. I'm a single mom of two, and so when my kids were little, I was trying to find my way out. My credit score was in the dumps. I had a terrible, I've been a realtor for a long time, but I wasn't making any money. And so when you're thinking about, starting your business and things like that, I went through everything, right? So I went through having really, really good months. Anybody have like really, really good months of income, and then having like really, really negative, really bad months. And so one of the things that I needed to do is learn how to kind of even things out, right? And so the investment properties was something that I decided that I wanted to do because I needed to be able to know that at least, at very minimum, I would be able to keep our lights on, pay our mortgage, and be able to put food on the table at very least, right? And so with that, the investment properties, because I knew I wanted to stay in real estate, the investment properties is how I was able to kind of get that baseline. I was able to, amass a $3 million in net worth over a 3-year period. So it worked, but it took a lot of discipline that we were talking about, and a really just, you have to have a mindset that you actually can do it. And so, like I said, about 3-4 years ago, I put a Facebook post up and I was like, hey, I'm gonna start documenting my journey on what I've been doing in investing and building my wealth. Anybody wanna join me? 250 women commented on that post, left their email address, and it birthed my company where the Wealthy Women group that basically I teach you how to go from not knowing anything about investing in real estate, but it's something that you're thinking of, to being able to get into that investment property, build that investment portfolio, and be able to build your wealth using real estate, and also leveraging stocks, right? So I saw hands, who's already invested? Okay, all right, cool. Are you guys investing in rental properties, long-term, short-term?
Yes.
Rental property, long-term? Okay, long-term? Rental, long-term? Who wants to invest that's not already? Okay, all right, cool. And so then I know we have a bunch of people that are thinking about purchasing their first home. Your first home is your first investment, right? So that first home, buying that first investment property, in fact, most of us leverage that first property into our first rental property. My first investment property, or my first home, was a duplex, right? So we lived upstairs, my cousin lived downstairs, and as soon as I had my son, I was laid off. I was out of work for like a year, and I was able to pay the mortgage because my cousin was paying our mortgage and unemployment was paying for us to eat. And so real estate has always been a fabric of what my life looks like because it's helped me through some very hard times. So if you haven't already downloaded the workbook, you can take a look, but really I'm just gonna talk really generally, right, about what it looks like to invest in the real estate market, specifically in Philadelphia. A lot of us are reading the headlines. Anybody see the headlines that are just like, oh yeah, the interest rates are crazy. Not only are the interest rates crazy, there's no more inventory and things like that. Anybody reading that? Anybody scared? Anybody don't care. It's not really affecting you, but it does, right? And so when you're thinking about investing in real estate, you have to think about what your goal is, right? So when I'm working with clients, when we're working with students, the first thing that I always tell them is, what bill can we put on this rental property, right? So if we have a rental property and the cash flow of it, or basically after all of the bills are paid, every single bill, the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, all of those things are paid, and that's the cash flow number. What bill can we put on auto pay? So tell me, what bill would you put on auto pay if you could, with a rental property? Because basically that means that your tenant is now paying this bill. Any ideas?
Well,
Go.
well, I would put the mortgage on auto pay.
Well, outside of the mortgage, so
Okay.
the cash flow. So after the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance, the maintenance reserve, like after all of those things are paid, whatever is left over, where would that money go?
To the utility.
To the utilities, like your utilities, like your.
To the house, because in mine, I was just doing rooms, because I had a duplex.
Okay.
So I did rooms upstairs, and then the downstairs is where I live.
Okay.
It was a terrible idea.
It could have.
Because every time something goes wrong,
They're
coming knocking on your door.
Yeah.
I found it hard, to be a woman
Sure.
trying to maneuver in this, because it's chaos, especially if you have men renting your property, and then they want to buck up at you when something goes wrong.
Right, wait a minute.
And I'm over it. So
Yeah.
honestly, I was going to ask you. I was seeing a whole bunch of stuff like, oh, sell me, a lot of stuff.
I would never sell. Are these your children?
Well, this is my niece, this is my son.
Okay.
So I got the duplex for him to create that generational wealth, because I never had it.
Okay.
But I'm in this dilemma right now, which I'm glad I'm here and we're speaking, because I was literally this close to selling it, like just throwing the towel in, like I can't do this anymore. I'm tired of people attacking me.
Yeah, no, okay, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
So, outside of the utilities, if you had a rental property, because in her case it's special, but in most cases, the people that are renting from you pay their own utilities, right? So if you're renting a house, you're paying your own electric, you're paying your own gas, and my tenants pay their water bill, right? So outside of that, once everything is paid, what bill would you pay of your own? What's your biggest bill? My car note, right? Student loans, my debt bill, my home's mortgage, right? So all of those things are things that you can do. You can have your rental property to be able to set aside, so that now the baseline of your bills can be covered with those rental properties. Basically, how I have it set up is that for every bill that I have a rental property that's allocated towards it. And that's a way for you to look at it, right? Because we all, we see, especially on social media, we're seeing all of this flash and all of the, all the things, but really, we really just want to get our bills paid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't, it's not really like a lot of us may have aspirations of, the huge house and the big car and all of those things, and those things are nice. However, we really just want to have our expenses covered, because that is really where the financial freedom comes in, and it's money that we're not actively working on. So it's not our active income that really pulls that out. And so those are things that rental properties do. Now we get into flips, right? So anybody thought about flipping a property or have already done that? How did you like it?
The toughest part was the contract.
The contractors.
Yep.
Yeah, I could finish your
Yeah.
sentence before you even said it, right? Yes,
We got it
usually
done, but
contractors
it was
are.
definitely a challenge.
Yeah. How did you wind up managing them?
Well, we rolled up on the contractor.
You right.
gave
We
him-
came with something
well, we
better.
gave him some money.
He
There
disappeared.
wasn't a little bit of change. So, we
Pulled
talked
up.
to him. Yeah, and he got it done.
You got it done?
Yeah.
I see the face. We'll get it done. All right, for sure. And so typically with investing, thank you. Typically with investing, your biggest thing after actually getting the finances together is the contractors, right? The people that are working on your property. First, you gotta find them, and they're like That's a thing. And then you have to find quality, and then you have to manage them. So the biggest thing that I tell people to do, especially as you're building this business, when you're building this business as being an investor, is you're making a pool of people, right? And I don't pay anybody up front. I use my business credit. So I use business credit to get all of the materials, the supplies, all the things. I buy those things myself. And then what I do is I get estimates. So I get a labor-only estimate. With that labor-only estimate, I say, okay, I'm not gonna haggle on the price. If the price works and it's within budget, I will go ahead and say, go ahead and do the work. Once you do the work, I'll have my inspector come and inspect it, and then I will give you your payment in full. And what happens with that, and the reason why, as a woman, and no offense to the men, but sometimes, even like when you're getting your car worked on, you know that you want a man to take your car to get worked on because you don't know how it works. And so a lot of times in contracting, it's the same way, because you may not know how things work. You feel like, well, I don't know if I'm being taken advantage of or not. So one of the things that we do is we pay them after they're done and inspect it and everything is ready to go. Then that way, now I'm able to go ahead and know that it's already taken care of and I can pay this person confidently. I don't give any deposits because I'm paying for my own materials. So because of that, now I don't have to worry about having to have somebody run off or even buy more materials for other jobs that they're working on that has nothing to do with me because I'm purchasing my own, right? So that's just a thing of like the contractor thing. It's still a challenge and a task, but that kind of cuts out because you're setting the precedent that you know what you're doing, right? And it helps. So some of the things that we talk about with investing. Anybody feel like they can't find where those investment properties are? Like if you were going to buy a property today, what part of the city would you buy it in?
I mean, for my main two that I'm already invested with somebody, the main places that are hot right now is I would say the middle of North Philly, even though I don't really want to be there, but West Philly has been the hottest right now, personally for me, because I'm noticing that a lot of people that are moving into West Philly aren't even American. For some reason, a lot of people who are moving in West Philly are Chinese descent, Pakistani descent. A lot of people in the eastern part of the world are starting to move over to in West Philly a lot, and I'm noticing that like a bunch.
Yeah. And so that's a great way. The other way, the way that I would suggest, especially as you all are starting out, is going to FILA opportunity zones, and you will see the plan, the 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, 20 year, 30 year plan for the city. And that will give you all of the zones that the federal government is about to put into those neighborhoods. And if you buy in those areas, then you know that the property values are already gonna go up because the federal dollars are gonna come there, right? And that helps you be able to get up above the curve. So you ever think about like areas like Northern Liberties? You guys are from Philly, so you know, right? Northern Liberties 15 years ago, you wouldn't want to be caught there at night, right? But now it's a place to be, right? And if we had the knowledge of looking where opportunity zones are, we would know what the development was going to look like in 15 years. It's not a secret, right? A lot of people are like, oh, well, only these folks know. They have to disclose it. It's on the website. It's public knowledge. It's free. And you're able to determine which areas you're going to invest in. Just like up Adams Avenue where that Walmart is, Home Depot and stuff up there is about to get a ton of, if you own in that area, keep it. If you don't, if you're not, if you're thinking about buying, buy in that area, because that area is about to get all of those warehouses back there. You guys know what I'm talking about? All those warehouses in those areas, that is about to become high development zone. You're gonna see a lot of entertainment things go back there because those warehouses have been sitting vacant for years, and it's all on the site. It's telling you what the plan, who's coming in town, all of the things. The other thing, like Delaware Avenue. Remember Delaware Avenue for a long time was abandoned, until the casino came, and now there's an entire, recreation, fun things going all up and down Delaware Avenue, and it's being developed. We have properties that are sitting on the river that used to, like, there are properties over there that are going for $900,000 that are sitting on the river that it was abandoned. It was literally a factory, right? And so those developments and that, you know, that knowledge is right there in that site and everywhere. Knowing where the federal dollars are going to go, just follow the money, right? Follow the government to know, you know, what's going to happen next. Another area is Broad and Erie. I got you. Broad and Erie. Think about Broad and Erie. If some of us are from that area, I lived in Logan, right behind Einstein Hospital. That's where I grew up, right? Broad and Erie was a hangout spot. Now there's a Marriott going to Broad and Erie, right? And if you go a couple blocks down where that North Broad train station is, that is going to be an Amtrak station that goes from North Philadelphia to New York in 90 minutes. That's all happening within the next 10 years. So if you live in Broad and Erie area and you're like, I want to get out, even if you do move, don't sell, right? So I was telling you, like, don't sell your children, right? Rachel is excellent because she really allowed, you know, like, started the conversation, right? But continuing the conversation of, you know, training your children to know how to maintain your wealth. How many people have a relative, a friend, or someone who has came into a lot of money and then lost it? They came into their parent died, $100,000, insurance, like all those types of things. And then you look up, or even, you know, case money, like you know, lottery, things like that. They get that money and then they lose it. It's because they're not trained. It doesn't matter how much money you have, right? If you don't know how to spend it and allocate it, you're forever going to be in the same position because of those behaviors. And so, one of the things when you think about investing is putting together that plan, right? That legacy plan. We all talk about this, like generational wealth and legacy and things like that. But what are we doing to really prepare our children, right? So, for instance, my daughter, she's 22, she's in college now. And one of the things that I wanted to do was make sure that she didn't have student loan debt. So when a year before she graduated from high school, I bought her an investment property. Her investment property now pays for her college. She has 0 student loans. And it's gonna pay for her if she decides to get a car, right? Those are the things that we have to train. She knows how to source contractors to come fix stuff. She knows how to pay taxes. She knows how to pay the insurance. She knows how to make sure that the things are done. And that's the training that we have to give our young kids. I'm so happy that we have him with you this morning. My son would be with me, but I have my intern today, so I knew that he wasn't gonna hang out with the girls. But it's important that we keep having those conversations and we set up the legacy and we have that estate plan, right? The trust. My trust is set up that even if my children decide that they don't want to be landlords or invest in property, they still can't sell up. The trust will hire a property management company. That property management company will go ahead and manage. They'll get a check every month, and they can't sell unless market conditions drastically drop in an area. And that's what we work for. So until you actually have that estate plan set up, then this legacy plan or legacy thing that we talk about will be dropped. Just like Rachel said, 70% on the first generation, 90% on the second. We have to think about what that looks like in the future, but also enjoy what we're doing now, right? And so when you're thinking about purchasing that first investment property, don't think of it as just like a house that you're purchasing and how much it costs and things like that. Think about the investment. Anybody want to retire soon or there? You ready? What's your retirement number? How much do you need to live a month? How much?
Ballpark.
4,000? 5,000?
Yeah, 5,000.
5,000? So what if we had every property had a cash flow of $500, then that means you need 10 properties. What would it look like for the next 5 years if you purchased 2 properties a year, right? And each time your initial investment, so initial investment typically on an investment property is about $25,000. You have $25,000, we can get you into that initial investment. Then we go ahead and we roll it into that investment and then roll it into the next investment, right? And what that means is that we invest in that first property, we take the equity from that first property and put it into the second property and keep rolling it and compounding it so that you all are able to make money. So,
Are we allowed to ask questions about?
I got you. Yep. I want to get to his question in the back. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
Just
What was
wanted
your
to say,
question?
I'm very close with Shantae.
Oh, okay.
I just texted her. No, go fast. You gave out a good resource. You was talking to us real fast. Can you give that resource? Because that was a gem
Which one?
that we need.
I think
the
it's the last
website.
opportunity zone.
The opportunity zone one?
Yeah, the
Yep, let me
opportunity
get the
zone.
exact website. Hold on. And if you guys download that workbook, it's in there. But I got you. Hold on. What was was that your question?
Yeah, that was it.
Oh, that was it? Okay.
It was such a big gem.
No, you're good,
I
you're
don't
good.
know
So
if we'll
it's,
record that. It's
I got you. Phila opportunityzones.org. Y'all got it? It's Phila opportunityzones.org. And if you go there really quickly, you can look at that at the top where it says OZ map and hit the highlighted areas, and you'll see specifically what I'm talking about. What areas are getting the immediate dollars?
You said that's like a 5-year. They show you like.
They're gonna
what's
show
about
you
to
every
happen.
plan. If you look right here, you probably can't see it, but it's Adams Avenue. Like I was telling you guys, Broad in Germantown, Broad and Erie, Delaware Avenue, Grays Ferry, and Washington Avenue. All of the areas that, if you're from Philadelphia, you know, Washington Avenue was like full of like just like these factory stores. And now there are condos and things like that, but it's because the federal dollars are going there, and big developers get incentives for building in those areas, and so that's why they build there. And then even Kensington, what I was talking about, North Philadelphia Station and West Market Street is getting a whole revamp because of the universities. But this information is not just, I got you. This information is not like hidden. It's not, you know what I mean? Like this is how investors plan out where they're gonna invest. You ever see people like invest a ton of money in one concentrated area? You know, like people like, oh, I got 10 houses in West Philly, or I got 10 houses in this neighborhood. It's because you wanna get away from that decision fatigue. You don't wanna keep on trying to figure out what's happening in a certain neighborhood. So for me, if I'm investing in North Philadelphia, I'm gonna concentrate in that particular area. I'm gonna know what my rent rates are. I'm a Section 8 landlord. So I know what Section 8 is gonna pay me. I know what resources to pull, what tenants. I'm already gonna have a list of tenants that applied to the first house that now wanna apply to this house. And so I'm already gonna know the lay of the land, and now I'm just going ahead and executing the strategy. And this helps you kind of, when you're thinking about areas, you're not just thinking about because when you think about it, like by the time we see it, like by the time we see the development, it's already, you know what I mean? So you want to get ahead of it. Makes sense? Back to your $5,000, right?
No, I actually, something that I wanted to say, that's why I want to know, is it okay to ask questions
Yes,
right now
yes,
or
ma'am.
after?
No, ask questions now.
Alright, so, I have no shame in what I'm about to say.
Okay.
I'm a layman when it comes to this, okay?
Okay.
I come here because it's different amount, like, maybe, close, maybe 10 years now, probably. Yeah, so.
Lou is a good friend to a lot.
Yeah.
Right,
So
yeah.
it's been a long time.
She's awesome.
So, I'm a layman. I don't have a mentor. I would love to invest. I do a 9-to-5. I'm a security officer.
I love that.
Right? And I did a job there in Kensington at a Hackney loft. It was like an old factory, and it turned into a loft section. So I walked in the buildings all the time. But I want to start somewhere. You know what I mean? I don't know how to. So having a mentor or having somebody there, you know, so that is why I'm here. I would love to get a mentor, show me what I got to do. I'm willing to learn. I just don't have the skills.
Right. So that's awesome. That's awesome to know, because if you are willing to learn, then there are people that want to teach, right? But are you willing to do? I'm not saying that you're not. I'm not saying you do. I'm not saying you're not. But at the same time, what happens is that these mentors and coaching and all of the things, people think that because they have that person, that they automatically are just now going to be in the place that they want to be. The work is there. You have to do the work, right? And so there's things that you have to do. You know, one of the things that we do is we take you through the process. you know, a lot of what Rachel talked about with the money planning and things like that, like, we gotta look at your money, right? Where is it going? Because that discipline is where we need to splurge on the sneakers for the kids. It's like, okay, kids, can we go ahead and bypass that for a season so that we can go ahead and get to our goal? Or do we even need to, right? Or do we need to just make more money? And so a lot of people don't want to talk about that because it's like, well, no, I could cut back, but who wants to really cut back? Nobody. So I don't ever tell anybody to cut back. I'm gonna tell you, don't cut back, make more money. We're in the best economy, the best time is in our lives to make more money. Online, this gig economy that we have, we are in literally the best time to make more money. So how do we make more money? Or how do you upskill, right? Sis right here was saying how she lost her job due to AI, right? So what does the upskill look like of whatever the position was to upskill into now becoming the AI expert so that you can't be let go, right? You're the AI expert of customer service because you've studied it and you've taken the zillions of classes that are online that are showing you how to upskill so that you can get paid more. You know, a lot of us think about, you know, entrepreneurship. I'm never going to tell you to quit your job. It's actually easier for me to get you into a rental property with you having a 9 to 5, because now the bank is like, oh, they have consistent income. Entrepreneurs, we like, sometimes we make money, sometimes we don't, right? And so you, as a 9 to 5er security guard, I had a set of twins that are correctional officers. One twin, she came to work one day, she was talking to an inmate. The next day she came in, he had hung himself, right? She went on to a mental leave because literally she couldn't do it anymore. She had some money, we were able to get her into an investment property, and now she's getting into the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one because sis is like, this is just too much mentally for me to do, right? But she put the work in and she put the hustle in, right? She had me as her mentor to tell her what to do, but she also was like, okay, I need to know these 3 things, and I'm going to execute on them, and I'm going to come back. And then we just keep going like that, right? But our coaching program is set up so that when you go through and you say, I'm going to go ahead and get this done, you're not just going without any direction at all, right? Because that's the thing that makes it scary. You're like, I don't know what to expect next, right? So, you know, I have a student that we just onboarded last week, and she's from Chicago, and she went from being a independent contractor to working a 9 to 5. She wanted the stability of the 9 to 5, but she basically lost $30,000 a year in her income from being a contractor. So now she's trying to make that up, right? She's trying to, like, now over the years' time be able to replace that with rental property, and that's a thing, right? It's possible, but you have to go ahead and be able to, one, either she's gonna take, I got you, either be able to take your time down or be able to go ahead and upskill to make more money, right? So it's something that we can talk about for sure.
Okay.
This is forever a safe space of being able to, you know, as brown folks, we gotta make sure that we are uplifting one another and being able to give each other the resources, and also giving us the resources without some sort of paywall. Now that of course it's my occupation, so there are fees. However, the information is there. The free information, I'm gonna give it to you all day, right? But at the same time, we gotta take the steps. Makes sense. Any more questions? I know, I'm sorry, I have another thing after this. Go ahead.
This one. A lot of us don't go to the town hall meetings, so we don't even know what's going on because we don't go to the town hall meetings.
Right.
But if we did, we would know that they're building all of this stuff in our areas.
Exactly, and that happens because when we're on the zoning meetings and the neighborhood associations, every single meeting, there's no one that's our age. Everyone is 70 who doesn't have, they're retired, they chilling, they've been in the neighborhood, they don't wanna lose their neighborhood, and they show up. Or it's people, the people that are not Philadelphians that come into our space, and they're coming because they're making the neighborhood better, but that means pushing us out that have been residents forever. You have to be aware of what's happening in your city. I don't even live in the city, and I attend city meetings because I invest here.
Real quick, in closing, it seems like now, shout out to Brad too, Black Real Estate Alliance, we want to make sure I get that on camera. But in short, it seems like when we are actually renting out houses, that there is more protection for the renters instead of us. So
I thought you wanted me to get out of here. The time that I have, I mean, I'll tell a quick.
Is there an organization that looks out for?
So HAPCO is an organization for it's the homeowners association of Philadelphia. So they're for homeowners and for investors. You can get through there and hire an attorney through there. But quick story. Had a tenant. She went ahead and she moved in right before the pandemic. Before the pandemic. Everything was good. The pandemic hit. She stopped paying rent, right? She said that she was laid off from her job. She was furloughed. Never showed any proof. Okay. So we go through this whole pandemic. Everybody's locked in. We still got to pay our mortgages as investors. They did give us like 2 or 3 months, but it was just like, so basically I'm paying for her to live, right? Went through the process. The courts were shut down, so we couldn't even file, right? So then it opened up for us to file over the summertime, so like just say July or August. But they didn't give us a date to go to court until the following year. No rent all this time. She wouldn't sign up for the landlord payment. She was just like, nope, I'm not doing it. So then we have court. She tells them they'll mind you, that's like, let's say 8 months, right, of no payment. She's like, oh, well, I'm gonna pay, I can go ahead and pay $100 towards this bank balance. Her rent was like $900. So 9 times 8, you guys know the math, right? So the court agreed to it because they're trying to not let people, they don't want people to be homeless, and they are just not poor landlords. In the process, got her there. She's still in the property doing all the things. And what do you think would happen? What would be the worst things to happen while you have a non-paying tenant in your property during the winter time? No. That could have happened. The bill, not even the bills. What else? That was a good. Yeah, the water bill for sure. Anything else? The heater went. So my attorney says, yeah, Jazz, you can't have her with her little all the kids that are under 3 in the house without operating heater. So $2,600 had to go to someone who wasn't paying their rent. Had to go ahead and get that done, right? So that's not even the end, right? So then she's still in there. Finally, she doesn't pay. Of course, she doesn't even pay with the court agreement because she knew that even still she wouldn't be able to be evicted. Then the courts, so I got a default judgment, but the sheriff couldn't come because of COVID, because they were not having any city employees facing any people in our city, right? So finally, we get a lockout date. The lockout date happens. They go to the property. The sheriff, she's not there, of course. The mom moved in, and the kids are there. So the sheriff's knocking on the door. They get everybody out. She comes to the property and tells them that she has some type of paper that says that she can stay. That was not the case, but they got her out. They locked her out. So this is a duplex. And so I told the tenant upstairs, hey, we're changing all the locks, doors, blah, blah, blah. If you hear anything, shoot me a text, whatever. So I go back home, everything's locked up. I go back home. I'm a grandma, so I go to sleep at like 9 o'clock, right? I get a text, I'm waking up like, what the heck is happening? 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning, the tenant's like, hey, I hear somebody downstairs. Huh? Like, oh my goodness. So I put my Uggs on, got my shorts, and I take my son, and we go down to the property. We see through the window, a TV going, we hear the air conditioning going, all the things. Go over to the police station. The police station, the city departments, if you work for the city, try to improve this, but they don't talk, right? So the Philadelphia Police Department didn't know that lockouts had started. So they were telling me, even though I had the paperwork, hey, no, lockouts are not allowed, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yes, they are. I had the papers. So they didn't do anything. So the next morning I woke up, because I didn't want to go in there by myself. I didn't know if it was her or what was happening. I wake up 7 o'clock in the morning, and I tweet the Philadelphia lieutenant and the Philadelphia Police Department. I have a lot of Twitter followers. within, I don't know, maybe about 30 minutes, I get a call from the lieutenant. Oh my goodness, what's happening, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, y'all should have did something last night, right? So go back over, get a police escort over to the property. She's still there. Knock on the door, she's still there. Oh, well, I had to get some stuff. You can't break back in, it's trespassing. So the police pull her, they gotta pull her out of the property. I'm sitting in my car, I'm like, what the heck is happening? So they're talking, she's like, I have proof that I can say. They're like, no, where's the proof? And so then they lock her up because she's trespassing. What do you guys think I did? Y'all don't know me that well, but what do you think I did?
Bail.
Huh?
Bailed her out.
I didn't bail her out, but I didn't let them arrest her because I felt bad for her because she had 3 kids that were literally sitting on a porch. And I'm a mom, right? And so I cried and they let her go. So then she of course tried to spit on me after I did that. And then the whole thing happened. So City of Philadelphia with evictions are terrible. That's why I only do partner with the government, meaning Section 8 or the Veterans Administration. And that's the only time I will do market rent. Any questions? I know that was a crazy story. I mean, do you still want to be a landlord? Right?
I want to be a Section 8 landlord.
Section 8 landlord is the way to go.